What's good, family? This is Theo. I'm one of the volunteers with Light Unto My Path. Real quick, I just wanted to share some encouragement for everyone who's on the boards, because I know sometimes it can be a battle, it can be a struggle, and you really lose faith in it. Now, when we started Light Unto My Path, we all came from, well, not all of us, but the majority of my family came from different boards that just weren't moving. They were stalled. The atmosphere where people were sharing information just wasn't real Christian-like. So we wanted to create our own platform, our own community where we could have that atmosphere and do it together. And we want to invite more people to it. So I thank you for even being a part of our community. Now, before we do anything, we pray about it within my family. Like, that's just how we rule our lives. We pray about relationships. We pray about business, whatever it is we're putting our hands on, we pray about it. And one of the things that we pray about for our boards is we ask God to give us strategies, to make our boards work well. We ask for God to bring us genuine people, that we reach out to. We ask for God to have people that are truly like-minded and village, minded, where they're always really looking to help someone else, not always out for themselves. Because that's really how the gifting platform works, is you have to bring more people. Now, one of the things that we prayed about was for a strategy. God, how can we make this gifting platform that's been around forever? How can we make it better? You can't get away that one brings two. That's just a simple formula. But Lord, how can we do that on a bigger scale? So help IDs is something that God blesses with. Now, what I'm sharing with you, you can use on your own boards, because even though you may have come in at a certain point, as all boards do, they spread out. So you can use this on your boards as well. And I'll give you the example that we're using on our own boards. So help IDs is what it's called. So a help ID is basically someone will gift onto the board for a spot. Instead of it being a person, is merely just a help. So when that particular help or when that particular spot on the board gets gifted, it then sponsors other people to come in on the board, right? So just like someone gets gifted and they keep their money, the help ID does not keep the money. It gives it back into different spots, thus making it easier to find the other people. You can find someone that needs to be blessed. You can find someone who may want to be a part, but they just don't have the money. So it's different ways, different reasons that it would sponsor someone. Now, Help ID goes up the ranks just like everyone else. On the first level, it gets 300. It sponsors. On the second level, when it comes off the $400 board or is in the same position on the $400 board, it gets 1,800. So that's 18 different spots that it can sponsor. So that's how Help ID works. It's merely there to help the board keep moving and to support people and to sponsor. Now, all of these people that the Help ID sponsors, when they get to their $300 board, the person that it sponsors, that person doesn't get the $300. That $300 goes right back to sponsoring someone else. When they get to the $400 board and they receive $1,800, it's theirs. All right. And so on and so on. Now, it would be appreciated, if they did sponsor 1 or 2 people themselves, the person who was sponsored and moved up to that board. Now, when a person, not a Help ID, but when a person sponsors someone, when the person that they sponsors gets into the $100 position, they then give that $100 back. So they don't lose that $100. They're just loaning it to someone to get into so they can get on the board and eventually move up to the senior position. So that's basically how a Help ID works. Now, I'm not going to get into full detail because I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, but just DM us. You can Theo Blake. You'll see me in the members list. Theo Blake. Just DM me and we can set up a coaching session for you and your group as well, you and your family. Now, real quick, my family, when we came on, as all boys do, like I said before, they start spreading apart. So what we do what we decided to do once we saw our boards are starting to slow down, and we were praying for strategies, we prayed for God to show us a way. The Help IDs is the thing that he gave us the idea of. So we started a board within our boards, right? And so we have a very large family. It's about 17 different heads of family. So we started out with 17 Help user IDs that represent each family member. Now, we put all of those Help user IDs on the board. We paid for each of those spots, like each family paid for those spots. And then once they got to the point where those Help IDs got gifted, the person who actually paid for the spot got their money back. But anyway, so you have, we had 16 to 17 help IDs going straight through the middle of our boards. Now, what these are going to do once they start getting sponsored, which they've already started getting, once they start getting gifted, which they've already started getting gifted, they start sponsoring spots on the boards that weren't moving. So now this board is also helping the board that we recently started as well. So the help user IDs are sponsoring these spots as well as spots on the boards that were stalled. So now these boards are starting to eventually move as well. Now, every 7 or 8 person that we put in a new help user ID. So it keeps help user IDs able to sponsor, because as you get more people, you want more help user IDs. So this is a great way to help your boards move. Again, remember why you got started. I know you can get discouraged when you get started and you realize how much work it takes. But think about why you got started. Think about what you were planning on doing with the money. Think about the people you were thinking about blessing with the money. Think about the people who you invited to be on your board. Don't give up. You have too many people that are involved with what you're doing. Plus, it's a great idea. So don't let the fact that it's more work than you may have anticipated, or because you see that it requires a little bit more effort, don't let that stop you from going after a good thing. So that's what the help IDs are used for. All right. So lastly, I'm going to end with this. When people get into the senior positions, this is something that we're starting to encourage our folks to do as well. But when they get into the senior position, we ask that they sponsor someone else, not someone who can really pay their own way in, but truly find somebody in need and help sponsor that person, right? So all of our seniors, as they're getting to the senior position on the $100 board and they get gifted, we're asking that they sponsor someone else. Now, that's a great way to keep the village mentality going. Now, once the person they sponsor gets into the senior position, they'll then give that $100 back to the person that sponsored them, and then they sponsor someone else, and it just keeps that cycle going. Village mentality. So that's it. I just wanted to share that with you. I hope this keeps you encouraged. We're going to start dropping more videos just to give you insight. If you need to know about any other details, let us know. We'll give you information. You can hit us at lightuntomypath7@gmail, lightuntomypath7@gmail. Just email us whatever questions you may have, or you can DM me, Theo Blake, and we'll help you out. That's it, family. We're here for you. The village mentality, light into my path.